wanted to get on here and educate the people, educate the public on how hard it is finding a job in 2022. Entry level jobs today are not actually entry level. I'm gonna be honest, the value of a degree is like is damn near nothing at this point. I'm honestly just being real. Like, the experience that you have in college is just not cutting it anymore. You're literally telling me that go ahead and spend 4 years getting your degree, and then once you get out of college, we want you to spend 5 more years working for free or working for very little until you're worth an entry level position that's barely even paying bills in the first place. And so it's like you have rent going up, chicken wings going up, gas going up, but guess what's not going up? Salaries. I have literally done everything I possibly can, networking, doing this, doing that, follow-up emails and this and that. Like, literally have done everything under the sun, and I still don't have a full-time job. All of this propaganda about no one wants to work is bullshit. It's bullshit. Hey everyone, it's me. Welcome back to my channel. I'm back on another video. And quick little side note, so I bought a new ring light, and oh my goodness, I am so happy I did this. And part of why I did this is because, if you guys haven't noticed, whenever I film videos and I look directly into the camera, the ring light is always in my glasses, and it always drives me crazy. It always drives me insane seeing that freaking ring light covering my pupils. But now I got a new ring light. It's like up above, and so the lighting is still good and you guys can actually see me. You don't have anything glaring in my glasses, and so I'm really happy about that. But anyway, we're gonna hop right into this topic that I wanted to discuss. And I've talked about this briefly in other videos where I talked about my struggles with finding a job. I also made a TikTok about it, which is on my TikTok and posted to my channel. But essentially, I want to talk about the job market right now. As someone that has actively been in the job market for months, it seems, and not even seems like, it has been months since I've been in the job market. It's been a struggle, and I kind of wanted to make this video because there's still a lot of people that just don't get it. Even though there are so many videos out there, there's so many tweets out there, there's so much out there of people like me who have been struggling to find a job, there are still people out there who just don't get it. Especially a lot of influencers. Like, I'll see a lot of like YouTubers and stuff, you know, like they've been out the job market for so long and they've just been doing YouTube that they really don't understand how hard it is to find a job nowadays. And so it's like they just don't get it. So they think that it's just as easy as putting in one application somewhere and getting a job. And I'll see people say that all the time, like, you know, oh, well, why are you still living at home? Why can't you just get a job and move out? Like, people think it's just so easy to get a job, for one, because it's not. In 2022, it is not easy getting a job. People think it's easy to just pick up and move. In this economy, and with these rent prices, these mortgages, like, it's not easy. It's not easy finding work. It's not easy moving out right now. Like, and you wouldn't know that if that's not your current situation and you haven't been in the job market for a long time. So I wanted to get on here and educate the people, educate the public on how hard it is finding a job in 2022. And so I first want to start off with the misconception that all of these companies are hiring. That's false. There are a lot of companies right now that are putting up false job advertisements, meaning they are putting up hiring signs around their establishments. They are posting on their websites that they're hiring, but they're not actually hiring. I actually just seen someone on LinkedIn talk about this, about how I think it was Facebook, Apple, and there was another company who they have on their website current job openings, but they've all announced recently that they're on a hiring freeze. And so it's like, you can apply for those jobs all you want to, but you're not going to hear anything back because they literally aren't hiring, and they said that. But they can't take the listings down. And so you're probably wondering, well, if they aren't hiring, well, why are the job listings up there? So from what I understand, a lot of jobs have to constantly show that they're hiring for like legal purposes or to get some type of financial backing from the government. There's some type of benefit that these companies get from making it seem like they're hiring when they're not. So a lot of times you literally will see companies pretending like they're hiring, just so it can seem like, like they're trying, and that they need extra funding and they aren't able to get enough workers when really they have plenty. Also, another issue that a lot of people are having is that they're applying to positions that these companies are aiming to hire internally. And so they're putting out these job listings on Indeed, LinkedIn, all these different job postings, and they're actually taking the time to sit there and interview and do all of that. However, they already have a candidate in mind. A lot of times, jobs will literally put a job listing up for the public to see and for the public to apply to, and again, even interview, do all of that, but they already have their person picked. So even if you put in your resume, you interview with them, you do all of that, they still have no intentions on hiring anyone that's not already currently in their company. And it's very, very frustrating. And of course, it goes back to the initial question of, well, why even put out a public job application if you're hiring internally? It's because legally they have to. And so, that poses an issue. And I even ran into that issue. There was a company, I'm obviously not going to say what the name of the company is, but I applied to work at this marketing company, and like they interviewed me. I went through several interviews with this company, and of course, you get that email, as you always get, oh, thank you for your consideration, but at this time we're moving on to someone else. And I actually found out on LinkedIn that they hired one of their interns. So they hired someone that they were already familiar with, someone that had already worked for them, but they tell me that they didn't hire me because of experience or lack of experience. And actually, that goes into my next point. So for a lot of us college students, or even people that are looking to switch careers, a lot of us are looking for entry level roles. However, entry level jobs today are not actually entry level. Like, none of them. I don't care what you say. Like, these entry level jobs are not actually entry level. And as someone that literally goes on LinkedIn damn near as much as I go on Instagram, Twitter, and everything else, these companies do not know what the definition of entry level is, like, at all. It's actually ridiculous. Everybody knows that when you're applying for a entry level position, that means you're entering the workforce. That is what that means. When you're applying for an entry level job, you're entering the workforce. And however, a lot of these entry level jobs, they want you to have years worth of experience. But at that point, you're no longer entering the workforce. You're already there. And so, and I've seen a couple of LinkedIn posts on this as well, about how these companies are doing this because they want someone with a mid-senior level of experience, but they want to pay them an entry-level salary, which is really messed up. And again, it's really frustrating for someone like me that's coming out of college with a whole degree. And I just talked about how I feel like my degree is worthless because I'm gonna be honest, the value of a degree is damn near nothing at this point. What you really want is that experience. And I feel like I got bamboozled because I was not aware of that. I was not told that. Like, I had no idea. I was always told that you go to school, you get your experience from school, you get your degree, and your degree should qualify you for jobs. But that's no longer the case anymore. Now you're leaving college, you have this degree, but then you're looking at entry level roles that require that you have 5, 7, I've even seen 10, which is excessive and very rare. But 5 actually is the most common number I see today. I see 5 years of experience required for entry level jobs. And so that's why I just been feeling so defeated, because I'm just like, you're really meaning to sit up here and tell me that I have to sit here? Because again, how else are you going to get that experience? If no one is willing to hire you into these entry level roles to get the experience in the first place, the only thing that you can do is internships. And a lot of internships either don't pay at all or they pay very little. And, and I don't mean to be like a negative Nancy or anything, but I'm honestly just being real. Like, the experience that you have in college is just not cutting it anymore. I know you're gonna see people who work on resumes and, career coaches. You're gonna see them say, like, oh, your college experience is valuable, put it on your resume. And I agree, you can put it on your resume. But again, as someone that has been actively looking for a job, a full-time job, for a while now, and even talking to some of my peers, and just, seeing other people within my age group talking about this, your college experience now isn't even worth much, because they are now specifying on the job description that you need either industry specific experience, or professional experience. Like, they're highlighting that it needs to be, even if it's 2 to 3 years, they'll literally say 2 to 3 years of professional experience or post grad experience. They don't even want to take your college experience anymore. And so for y'all who are like, joining like 50 clubs on campus, honestly, just don't. Don't even do that. I would focus in more on internships. So please take it from someone that is currently struggling right now. And again, I usually wouldn't promote this, because I think that when you're in college, you should just be able to focus on college. But unfortunately, the world isn't set up that way. And so I would actually encourage, even as early as your freshman year, the sooner you can get internship experience, the way better off you're going to be. I promise you. Because I kid you not, these jobs are literally saying you need work experience, you need internship experience. They literally are not taking your college experience as actual valuable experience anymore. A lot of companies. I'm sure there's a few sprinkled here and there, but for the most part, just experience from being in organizations on campus just isn't going to cut it, unfortunately. And so, you have that. And again, because they want you to have that internship experience, or, whatever the case may be, it's frustrating for us that actually did just focus on school and maybe got an internship in like your senior year of college, because now you're coming out of college. They're telling you need 5 years of experience before you get your full-time entry level job. And so you're literally telling me that go ahead and spend 4 years getting your degree, and then once you get out of college, we want you to spend 5 more years, or 4 or 3 or whatever, working for free or working for very little, until you're worth an entry level position that's barely even paying bills in the first place. And so that's why I'm really over here just feeling defeated, because it's just like, you're really meaning to tell me I have to continue to do internships, because I'm what? I'll be 23 next week. So you mean to tell me that I am not owed a entry level well, not let me not say owed, because that's a trigger word for people. You mean to tell me that I don't deserve a entry level job until I'm 28? Or let's even do 2 to 3 years. So when I'm 26, that's when I'm allowed to start working full time and getting an entry level salary. Like, get out of here. What was college even for then, if that's the case? Like, that's just really, really frustrating and infuriating that that's the case. It's like, it literally doesn't make any sense. And again, had I known that, I would have did an internship my sophomore year of college, had I known that this is where I was going to end up. And so yeah, please start doing internships as soon as you can. I know it's going to be stressful. I know it's going to be a lot to balance. But if you are looking to start working as soon as you get out of college, the sooner you start, the better. I promise you. And so the other difficult part about the job market right now is that when you do get to that step of interviewing with companies, a lot of companies' interview processes are just very, very long, unnecessarily long and extensive. And these could range from big corporations to even small startups. Like, a lot of these companies, their hiring processes they're outdated, and they're, again, unnecessarily extensive. And again, I've seen people talk about this on LinkedIn, so I know I'm not the only one, where it's like you have to do 5 interviews. Now, please tell me, what is the point of doing 5 interviews for a position? And again, sometimes it depends, right? Like if it's for Google, if it's for like a high senior level position, maybe. But I've seen people do 2 to 3 interviews to work at Claire's, like the Claire's that are in the shopping malls. Like it's ridiculous. And I've granted, and I'm getting to that point where I'm gonna start being picky with the type of jobs that I apply for. Because up until this point, anything that I've had to do to get to the next steps in getting a job, I was willing to do it because I was that desperate for a job. So it's like, okay, you want to do 4 interviews? Fine, I'll do 4 interviews. You want me to take some assessments? I'll take the assessment. But I'm getting to the point where I don't want to do that anymore, and I'm gonna start saying no because I've done all of that and it's gotten me nowhere. It's gotten me nowhere, and it's just wasting my time. Because again, the last well, not the last job I interviewed for, but that marketing company that I spoke about earlier, that was a company where I did 2 to 3 interviews for them. I literally had to fill out a whole assessment, had to design some graphics, did all of that just for them to hire their intern that they were already planning on hiring. And there's already a conspiracy out that companies are having you do those assessments because they're really trying to get free work from you on the low. Because like my assessment was like, oh, respond to these fake emails and create these graphics for this fake company. Who's to say that's not an actual client that they have and that I just gave them free work? But again, I was willing to take that risk because I'm like, I need a job. But it's very frustrating when you do all of that and it amounts to nothing. Or I've even heard of people saying like they've done 4 interviews for a company and they got ghosted, which is another issue too. A lot of times you'll get ghosted, and people love to say, "Well, oh, did you follow up?" Yes, yes, we follow up, we call, we do everything to like I kid you not. I have heard and I've seen people say that they were literally given a job offer. They literally were told, "Hey, you're going to be starting like next week." And the company never got back to them. And they're calling, they're emailing, nothing, crickets, never got back to them and they never got started. Like it's that bad, y'all. And that actually happened to me. Before I got my internship, there was a company that I had interviewed for. The lady literally told me that I got the job and that I would be starting on Monday. I never heard from her again. This is the kind of stuff we're dealing with in 2022 with trying to find a job. It's like, why are you lying to me? Because that's another thing too. I cannot stand these hiring managers lying. Like, literally, all you have to say is, oh, thank you for your time. We'll get back to you with the decision. And even then, if you ghost me, it's like, okay, I guess I just didn't get the job. But don't sit up here and tell me, oh, we would love to work with you. I'm ready to get started. And then you don't contact me again. Like, why did you lie? Why did you straight up tell me I got the job when I didn't? Like, it's so crazy to me. And again, that has happened to me. The other issue too with again these entry level jobs and trying to get a job out there is the pay. As we can see, inflation is, off the roof right now. Everything is going up. Everything, especially rent. And I actually just found out that there are some states that don't have policies and laws in place to prevent price gouging when it comes to rent. And actually, Virginia is one of those states where your tenant or the person that is renting out your apartment to you, they can increase the rent to whatever they want. Like literally, they can increase it to whatever they want, and there's no law preventing that. So you can move into an apartment that's like $1,400 a month, and they can decide next month that it's $1,700. There's no law preventing that, which I think is so fucked up and weird. And so it's like you have rent going up, chicken wings going up, gas going up, but guess what's not going up? Salaries. Salaries are not going up. Most salaries today, you're barely getting by, which is another thing that feels so defeating because it's like you're again, it's like you get this degree and you have to go into these entry level roles, which presumably so, like if you're going into an entry level role, you're getting an entry level salary. So it's not like it doesn't make sense to get a lower salary when you're first starting out, but the salaries aren't even enough to live on your own and pay for your own bills. Like 30K is not like 30K is like you can't do anything with 30K. And so it's like if I get offered a 30K role, I'm still gonna be living at home. And that's a wild thing. There's a lot of people actually out there right now that are working full-time jobs, but they're still living at home because they can't afford to move out on the salaries that they're being given. Y'all don't think that's a problem? Like, that is a problem. I get a degree and I get offered a salary that doesn't even allow for me to take care of myself. Like, that's wild. And I still see jobs out there that require years of experience, a degree, and all that. And their salary range is 30 to 35K. You literally can't do anything with that. Even if you try to live somewhere that's like cheap or whatever, that's barely making ends meet. And it's crazy because I actually used to sit here and say, oh, if I got a 50K salary, I'll be cool. Or if I get 45K, I'll be cool. But once you factor in taxes and everything else, I still don't think that's even enough to move out on. And so I'm feeling really defeated because it's like, okay, I'm really going to need like between 50 and 60K to really be able to move out on my own. And I don't know when I'll be able to obtain that salary because of how these job listings are structured. It's so crazy to me. It's so crazy. The other issue too that I want to point out with finding jobs as well, because people will often say that, oh, you have to like go outside of your industry and, X, Y, and Z. You can't even do that anymore. And I'll tell you why. The reason why you can't do that anymore is because a lot of jobs now are requiring that you have industry specific experience. And that is yet another obstacle. Because again, and I'll use me for example, right? Like I'm marketing, right? I'm a marketing major. I have my marketing degree. If I apply to market for, I don't know, a local restaurant, right? The restaurant will literally have in the job description, you have to have experience working with other restaurants. Not just marketing experience in general. They want you to have industry specific experience. Same thing with the bank. I've even seen that too. I've seen some marketing jobs for banks and it literally says have to have 2 years of experience in the financial industry. Why? If I meet all the other requirements, why is it required that I've worked with other banks or even marketing agencies? I can have all the marketing experiences in the world. They literally will put on there have to have experience working with other marketing agencies or startups. I've seen startups do that. I've seen startups put in their job description have to have experience working with other startups. It's like they make it so specific now that it's just like, what do you do? Like, what do you do? What do you do? And again, it's like there's this expectation that they want you to work for free or for, low payment for years and years to get this experience, which is, it's so dumb. Like, why do I need to work at a bank for 2 years as an intern or as like, I don't know, whatever, in order to get a marketing job? Like, I don't understand that. But so then it's like, okay, cool. You're telling me I have to get more internship experience and I have to be damn near 26, 27 to get my first actual job. Okay, cool. But then guess what? Then you go online, you look for internships, and it says you have to be a college student. I'm not a college student anymore. And so it's like, I don't even qualify for internships because they're probably thinking the same thing we're thinking, which is that, okay, we have a degree, so what's the point of having an internship now? Like, literally, like, I've looked at internships where it's like you have to be a college student or they don't offer payment, but they'll offer college credit. What am I going to do with college credit? I'm not a student anymore. And so it's just like, what do you do? And, and people will say like, oh, you can still apply. We got to stop with that. We got to stop with the whole, oh, you can still apply, things can still happen. Clearly, these companies, they want what they want. And if you don't have what they want, they're not going to consider you. You're not even going to get the interview if you don't have what they want. I understand wishful thinking and being optimistic and, oh, you never know what's going to happen. I'm telling you right now, these companies, they're being way, way, way too picky nowadays. And so it's like, if you don't have what they're looking for, they're just not going to consider you. And if I'm applying to an internship that is geared towards current students and they see that I have my degree already, they're not going to offer it to me. They're going to prioritize the people that are actually students that they probably see as people that actually need it. And so it's like, we're screwed basically. Like we're literally screwed at this point. And it's crazy too, right? Because it's like people will say like, okay, well, your experience can only get you so far, but really it's networking, right? It's really networking and getting to know people in your industry and getting the jobs, directly from the people that work at these companies, right? I have had not one but two instances where I got job interviews because I knew the people that worked at the company. There was even a job that I applied for because of someone that I knew at the company that put me on. She even got me through the phone screening. You know how sometimes you have to go through a phone screening before you get to the interview? She was able to clear me for the phone screening. So I got to skip part of the interview process. That's how much my networking and connections led me. You think I got that job? No, I didn't. I still didn't get the job, even though I got it through connections. And it's like, damn, networking doesn't even work. Because there was another job too where, again, someone put me on. I was able to get directly to the hiring manager. I was able to get the interviews. And I went through 3 interviews for this job. And it literally came down to me and another person, another guy. And they ended up giving it to him. Even though they supposedly loved my interview and all this and that, still didn't offer me the job. Like and that's why, like, and I get it, people don't mean it in a harsh way, but this is why I get so frustrated, because I am doing everything I can possibly do. I promise you, I'm getting my resumes looked at. I'm even getting my resumes looked at the companies that I'm trying to apply for. I have literally done everything I possibly can, networking, doing this, doing that, follow up emails, and this and that. Like, literally have done everything under the sun, and I still don't have a full-time job. And it's so crazy when people just assume. And I want to get into that as well, because that's probably why I wanted to get into this video. Are all of the people, the insensitive people online who don't understand the struggles of finding a job. All of this propaganda about no one wants to work is bullshit. It's bullshit. Yes, there are some people out there who don't want to work. I'll agree with that. There are some people out there who they don't want to work for anything. They just want to receive money, X, Y, and Z. But there are, when I tell y'all, literally just go on Twitter, go on TikTok, go on social media. There are so many of us who have been putting in jobs after job. I know people who have put in 500 job applications just over the summer alone and didn't get a job from that. People are out here applying. And so please don't sit up here and believe what the media is saying about there being tons of jobs out there and no one wanting to work. There are plenty of people wanting to work. No one is willing to hire. That's the problem. These companies don't want to hire us. That is the problem. Or they're being fake and they're acting like they're trying to hire outside people, but really they already got the position lined up for somebody. Like, it's like, please take this into consideration before you start hounding on people about, oh, why aren't you working? And thankfully, I haven't gotten this at all from anybody that I know personally, because thank God. But I have seen people say, like, oh, you're 20 something years old and still living at home. Why are you still living at home? Why are your parents still taking care of your bills? You don't understand how defeating that can be. Again, I'm thankful that no one has made me feel bad for the current position that I'm in. But please understand that people are struggling and they are trying. And they have been trying for months to find work. And so you being mean and, shaming them for still staying at home. They're staying at home because they don't have a choice. They can't afford to leave. And unless they want to be homeless and living in their car, they cannot leave. Trust me, there's a lot of us right now that are in our 20s I even know people in their 30s still living at home because the economy is so bad and we can't find work and we can't find salaries that will allow for us to leave from home. So please extend people some grace with that. And also too, please don't assume that because someone doesn't have a job that it's something wrong with them. Again, I've been in situations where it just seemed damn near perfect. Like my resume was perfect. My interviews were perfect. Again, that marketing job I didn't get. My friend literally asked the people who interviewed me, how did my interviews go? And is there anything that I can improve on? Do you want to know what they said? They said that there was nothing that I could have improved on. That was one of the best interviews that they ever conducted. They loved my energy. They loved the way that I answered my questions. I probably would have gotten that job had it not been for the intern. And that's no shade to the intern, But it's just like they already had in their minds who they were going to go with. So it didn't matter how great my resume was. It didn't matter how great my interview was. They were not going to give me that job. And so it's like you literally can set yourself up to have the perfect situation and still not get the job. And so I need people to understand that. Stop saying, especially too, right? Because it's like I don't have that much issue with getting interviews. I don't always get interviews, but I've gotten a lot of interviews. And it's so crazy to me when I tell people that I've gotten a lot of interviews and their response to me is, oh, maybe you need to fix your resume so you can get a job. My resume is not the issue. The resume is what gets you to the interviews. If I'm getting interviews, my resume is not the problem. People will assume that, oh, like your resume isn't optimized or maybe your interview was bad. No. Sometimes you can have both of those and still not get the job. I know that's a shock to some people, but it's true. Especially if they really don't have any intention on hiring. And I also found out that the same way that companies will hire people of color to meet a quota, they do the same thing for interviewing. Because apparently, if you don't interview enough diverse candidates, you can also be held liable. And so there are some companies out there that will interview people of color just for the quota. Just for the quota so they can report it to the government and so they don't get into trouble. Or I don't know if it's the government, but whoever. They have to report those numbers to show that they're trying to be diverse and to hire diverse candidates. So some people will hire you just because you're black or you're Asian or you're Hispanic, but they don't actually have an interest in hiring you. They just need to interview you for numbers' sake. Like, I'm telling you, y'all, it's really bad out here. So please give people some grace when it comes to us that are actually struggling to find work, because it's not as easy as the media makes it seem. These companies, like even people getting laid off, like it's just really, really bad out here. So please just extend some grace to those that are currently looking for work, especially us that are just coming out of college and getting the short end of the stick, because again, we're getting offered low salaries and we're also not getting offered these jobs because of lack of experience. As if the past 4 years that we worked so hard to get this degree is meaningless, because now we're being told that we have to work for free or work for low pay and do more internships and and volunteer. You have to do all of this now for 2 to 3 more years past college. It feels like it's not even worth it at this point. So again, I'm going to reiterate, if you are in college right now, I don't care if you are a freshman, start looking for internships. Please. It doesn't matter what the industry is. I've seen people from every single industry complain about getting jobs, even IT. You would think IT jobs are easy to come by. Literally, I have seen IT people who graduated from college, they literally can't get work because of all these extra requirements or even certifications. Also make sure too that you can get your certifications. I know with my school, we can get certifications for free through LinkedIn Learning, but get your certifications in as well, because that's another obstacle that postgraduates are dealing with getting a job. But yeah, hopefully this was informational. Again, I just kind of wanted to get this video out and just get it all out in the open, because I just feel like a lot of people, they just don't understand truly how hard it is out here to get a job, even getting a job outside of your field. Because again, people will say like, oh, you have transferable skills, I can go to other jobs. But then you look at those jobs and it literally says you have to have experience in this specific field doing this exact thing. Even if you have all the requirements, even if you have the skill set to do that job, they still have all these extra obstacles for getting these jobs. So yeah, it's crazy out here. But yeah, I think that's all I have to say on the topic. And yeah, if you guys have anything else to add on the topic, you agreed with anything that I said in the video, make sure you guys leave a comment down below. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a big thumbs up. And don't forget to hit the notification bell so you know when I'm posting new videos. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel. And I will see you guys in the next video.